What is going on, everybody? It's Brian from Brian Loves Bonsai. Today I am going to be repotting this leaning Tigerbark Ficus microcarpa, nicknamed Wilma. If you don't know, I nicknamed this tree Wilma after an impactful hurricane in my childhood. This tree is a representation of a tree that might have been toppled in a storm but persevered and made it through and is continuing to grow and function as a normal tree. And I will be repotting it today. So remember, when you are doing anything in bonsai, you need to ask yourself why you're doing it. And the reason why I am repotting this tree is, although the old pot is beautiful, it is just becoming too small to support the visual scope of this tree. The base is becoming too small for the upper canopy, which is continuing to develop over the course of time. And as such, I decided that I would put the tree into a pot with a wider base, and I also chose one that is a lot more shallow. I know that I can kind of beat up a ficus a little bit and cram it into any space that I need to, and the roots are still going to recover. And with the roots that are available to me, you can see that this tree is growing in a very small, tight, and compact space. The root base is nice and tight but also shallow, which was conducive to me repotting this tree in an extremely shallow pot. As you can see, this tree is growing entirely in bonsai soil already, and the roots look extremely healthy to me. One of the major obstacles with this repot is going to be the heavy lean that's associated with the tree. It was established in the pot, and this pot does not exactly have the best anchor areas, but I was able to concoct a solution to that issue using a unique wiring method for the base, which I will show you when I get there. So right now I'm just determining whether or not I can get this tree at the right angle and in the right position inside of the pot. Again, there's not a lot of room to work in here, so I'm just trying to make sure that the root base flares and is positioned in the right location. And because of the lack of extra tie down holes, what I actually end up doing right now, you'll be able to see, is I take wire from the right side drainage hole and I reconnect it to wire on the same side, on the right side drainage hole, so it's looping around the tree entirely. And basically, a little bit of more physics, the balance of the tree is leaning on that wire and causing it to stand up appropriately, fitting perfectly into this nice new shallow pot. So this actually ended up working out really well for me in the end. So remember, when you're repotting in a shallow pot such as this, you're going to want to put a very, very fine layer of soil at the bottom. There's not a lot of room, and so I don't want to take up too much room. There's going to be an area for the roots to grow in that thin, small layer, along with the soil that I add in the area in between. Here's a close-up of that wiring I did for the base. As you can see, it loops around from the back side, comes all the way back, and it's tied down into the same hole. And as you can see, the tree is very stable and standing on its own. Now that the tree is standing on its own, I can finish up with the process of the repot. Like I mentioned, this pot is wider, longer, and so I'm going to comb out the roots that are in there. I'm going to spread them out into the space that's available to me. I'm going to try and make it even slightly more shallow, as this pot is a whole inch shorter than the pot that it was in previously. And then once I get the roots spread out into the volume of the pot, I'm going to add the soil, the remaining soil, which for this tree is a mix of lava rock, kiryu, which is a Japanese sand pumice equivalent, and fine akadama. I used the fine akadama for this tree because it is in such a shallow pot. It's going to retain moisture better. The small particles are going to fit better and take up some of the gaps in this small pot with the small root space. So I'm going to go ahead and throw on music for the rest of this repot so you can see me finish up. You will also see the tree in a complete 360 at the end. I hope that you enjoyed watching me repot this video, and if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks everybody. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for watching.